Welcome once more. Today is a great program, and we'll be looking at those questions that you need to ask before you go into a serious relationship with anyone. Why these questions are important to ask is because now, when you say yes and you go into marriage, and something starts rising up, that is when you know who your partner really is. These questions will help you to know how your partner thinks, his decisions, what triggers his anger, and a lot of things that is going to give you an insight of who you are going to marry if that relationship leads to marriage. Some of us who went into marriage without taking into consideration this question find out that really it's difficult. I have friends that have reached out to me that their spouses do not allow them to go to worship to a certain church. Some of them don't allow them to have a joint account. No, when it comes to joint account, or where the children have to go to school, or even how many children do we want to have, they start having a lot of troubles because they tend to see that inside the marriage, the opinions are different, the viewpoints are different, and they cannot really come to a middle ground. So it's important that when building a serious relationship or trying to become close with someone you are courting with, asking the right question can really make a great difference. It will help you to know this person, know them, know what they think, know how they think, know how they will react to situation. Another example can be a situation of infertility. Now, there are some partners who will not like to adopt children. There are some other ones, maybe your partner will not like to adopt a child and you would like to adopt a child. So what do you do? See, it's so important to discuss these questions, some of these questions, before you even think of going into a serious relationship with someone else. Now, before we go to look into the question, I would also like to invite you to our ministry tools. I've been to many ministries and they have all kinds of ministry tools, but these particular tools about marriage, they do not have it. And marriage is an institution, the only institution that we go into it, or the only certificate that we have, that we are not being granted a certificate, there's no pre-training. No, you are being granted a certificate without any pre-training. So as Christians, non-Christians, we need tools, we need material, ministry materials to help us, guide us, in order for us to have this strong, build this strong relationship into matrimony. The very first book I have here is the 21 days fasting journal. This is a journal that is focused on marital breakthrough. It's not really, you must not really have this journal if you are having troubles in your relationship, but a journal will help you, and will help you jot down your thoughts. It's going to help you to draw closer more to Christ. And since it is a fasting journal, fasting, it's going to help you to build up your faith. Like when you are fasting, you kill the spirit and you kill the flesh, and the spirit takes over. So it's going to help you to be there spiritually buoyant and strong to withstand any challenges that are coming your way. So before the end of this program, I'll be sharing in the comment section the link whereby you can download this. This is a free journal, it's a free tool packed with a lot of insight. It's a 21 days, so you have every day, you have something to jot down. You jot down your thoughts. There's a prayer verse, there's a verse for each day, guys. So this is a great tool for you. It's a free journal, and I'm the author of this journal. Now, another ministry material that is really of great importance is the Marriage Christian book that have just been launched. I think today it has been launched. It's 1 month ago, and it's really having a lot of people are buying it, and I'm having a lot of testimonies too from this book. So if you are looking forward to build a strong and thriving marriage, if your marriage is at the verge of collapsing, please, guys, this book is a handy book for you. We'll be discussing more about this book in my future videos, but for the meantime, I just want you to know that this is a great ministry materials, and a lot of pastors have reached out to me to start using this book in their congregation as a training book for their married couples. So this is a great book. You can go on Amazon, type a married Christian, and you have this book as well. Now, before we jump into our question sessions today, I also like you to invite your friends. Please share this video. Help me share this video. You might not really know who you are. You are empowering or you are encouraging, and if you are watching, I want you to say hi to me. I'm not seeing you. I don't know. I'm using a tool whereby I cannot see you until you type something under in the comment section. Let me know who is there. Let me know where you are watching from. I want to welcome you to this great program that we are starting today. So another reason why we need to ask these questions before going into marriage is because it will help you. This question will help you to understand your partner very, very well. Yes, this is a great opportunity. Don't be shy to ask them how they think, how they spend their money. It's good, because when you go into the marriage, you see these little questions, you start seeing that they will become so difficult. It's as if you don't really know your partner anymore, because his point of view, his opinion about a certain topic can really shift you off balance. You'll be surprised if this is the man you really intended marrying, because you see that their opinions really differ from you, and their behavior as well will be different from what you perceive it was before going into marriage. Now, as Christians, the very first question you are going to ask is, what are your religious beliefs? Yes, because I've had a lot of friends who come to me crying that their partners will not allow them to go to church. They don't allow them to go like on Wednesday service. They don't allow them to take the children to churches, you see, or to a particular denomination. This is because they went into marriage without knowing even if their partners are true, are newborn in Christ, are true believers, are born again Christians. And sometimes you might go into marriage without being a born again Christian, but inside the marriage, the Holy Spirit can touch you and you give your life to Christ. And there you start seeing that your spouse doesn't have the same viewpoints like you, because you have given your life to Christ. They have not given their life to Christ. So it will become a difficult situation to start going to churches, and when the children start coming, you want to take them to church. Maybe your partner will not even understand, why are you going to church? Why are you fasting? They will not understand when you are fasting. They will not have a clue of what you are doing. So it's very important for you to know your partner's beliefs when it comes to their religious beliefs. What do they believe in? Do they believe in Christ? Do they believe in church, in Christ and his church? Or they are these people that don't just believe that the church has something to do, or they believe in God, yes, but they are not practitioners of the word. You see, the Bible greatly encourages us that we should not be unevenly yoked. Yes. And that is because when you are unevenly yoked, the other partner will never understand your modus operandi. They will not know why you are doing what you are doing. They will not understand it from the rhyme of the Holy Spirit. You cannot pray together. And we know that families who pray together stay together. This is a sure fact. Families, husbands and wives that pray together, they stay together. Please, if you are watching, I want to see who is watching with, who is here with me. Please join into the conversation. Help me share this video. I'll really do appreciate you. Now, another question that you can ask is, what are your political beliefs as well? I've seen husband and wife quarrel because the husband is a Democrat and the wife is a Republican. So it brings a lot of clash when there are elections out there. So hello, Sister B Azinwi. This is our next guest on the panel. Thank you very much for coming in, Ma. We also have Sister Olivia Tengen all the way from Italy. Sister Olivia, thank you for joining, Ma. Please help me share this video. I'll greatly appreciate. There might be a sister somewhere who has not even gotten into marriage that this topic is going to help. We are discussing about those questions that you need to ask before you go into a serious relationship with somebody, because people who have gone into relationships without having this clear view of their partner's viewpoint have really find difficulties in coming to a middle ground when issues arises. So you need to know about how your husband thinks. What are his political views? Is he a conservative? Is he a socialist kind of person? It's so important, guys, to know all this information about your partner before you go into it. So that when things start arising, you already know that you made a choice accepting who he was or how he thinks about a certain topic. The third question that you need to ask is that is not these questions are there are a lot of questions. I just selected some few and it comes in all order. It's not in the order of merit, so it doesn't matter how which order they comes into. Now, how do you feel about abortion? Yes, because there are some men or women that, for example, you have 3 kids and maybe you don't want to have kids again. And it happens that you didn't take your pills on time and you are pregnant. Like a married couple, there's no sex schedule date. Some people might have them, but some might not have them. They just do it as it comes. And it might happen that you are pregnant. So you might want an abortion and your partner doesn't want an abortion, or vice versa. As I said, as a Christian, Christians do not abort. You might have given your life to Christ and you are not, and you are a Christian and you don't buy abortion. Meanwhile, your partner says, please, I don't have money for this. There was no plan for this, so no child. So how will he react? What are his beliefs about abortion? All these questions are really, really important for you to ask. Another one is, what is your ideal career? You see, you can be working on something, but that is not your passion. That is not something you are passionate about. You might be doing something just because you want to earn a living with it. So you need to know your partner's ideal career, the kind of career that he really wants or she really wants, so that in future, if they want to go into that career, you will not be an obstacle at home, because some people might feel so threatened that, wow, this one wants to go and study this and become this more than me, this kind of small conflict in between couples. I mean, your partner should already know that this is something you so much love, and just because situation doesn't allow you at that time to do it doesn't mean you might not do it in future. So that when the topic comes up, they already know, they already have it pre-hand with them, that they know that this is something that you have always liked, and they'll encourage you to do it. Another question is, are you into debt? Yes, a lot of people have come to me, yes, personally, and they went into marriages not knowing that their wives or their husband are into a huge debt. So when you know if your partner is into debt, it's important for you to take some decisions, because it's either when you are married, are you going to be paying your debt while my own money is to pay the bills at home, or what are we really going to do? This will help you to organize yourselves. There are some people who go into marriage and they hide their debts. They hide that they have them. Now, into marriage, you discover that your spouse have a huge amount of debt. You see, it becomes so difficult for you to go back to take a decision that, no, I'm not going to get married to you because you have this debt. Meanwhile, if you discuss these questions before ever going into any serious relationship with your spouse, it will really help you, because you will know that they have a debt. You will know the amount that is going to be scheduled to pay this debt off, and how much, who is going to be paying the bills with their own money. Yes, you have to have this clear before you go into any serious relationship, because as I said, when you go into a relationship without knowing all this, and when this question arises, you will see that you tend to look at your spouse like somebody who you have never known, because the way they will react will be really, really different from what you taught them to be. Another one is, how do you spend your money? You see, there are these people that like to live on credit cards. There are other people who are more conserved. They don't like to spend what they do not have at all. They like to save their money and use it according to what they have. So other people like credit card, spending money that they don't have and later paying. So it's important for you guys to know, because financial difficulties are one of those main things that causes divorce into matrimonial. Financial difficulties. A lot of women I've talked with, a lot of men I've talked with, what they always have, what always stems problems are financial difficulties. So it's important to know how the spending habit of your spouse. There are some people who go online, they have this buying sickness. They just go and shop and buy, even buying what they do not have, buying and buying and buying, and then when the month ends, all the money is being swept to pay their credit cards, and there's no money for the kids, there's no money to pay the bills, and you cannot save with that kind of a spouse. So it's good for you to know their spending habits, how they spend money. It's important. Now, another one is, what do you feel about monogamy? Yes, because in our society or in our culture, there are still African men that think that polygamy, they are polygamous. They can keep concubines, or they can even marry 50. And when you want to talk, they'll say, no, Abraham had 50 wives. They always use Abraham to justify their keeping other women around. So it's always important for you. If you are the type that you cannot stand a second wife, please discuss this with your husband. There are a lot of women who will not stand it, or there are a lot of, yes, you have to discuss this to know his viewpoint about monogamy. It doesn't matter if the person is in the US, you think they have been transformed mentally. No, most men are not really transformed mentally when it comes to monogamy and polygamy, because of their egoistic nature. They like to have it all. They want to have more than 3 women, and they will not accept it. So it's important for you to know their viewpoint about monogamy. What do they think, feel about it? Another one is, ask them if they are gambling, the gamblers, because there are some men you go into marriage with and they are gamblers, and they are gambling, and women as well. You need to know if the person you are into a relationship is gambling. This is because when you are married, almost all your income or all the house income will be going on machine. You see, it's an addiction that people has to go for rehabilitation to come out of it. It's more right. It's more like a drug. Yes. So you have to really know if your partner is a gambler. He's gambling. He plays this tape tape. We call it tape tape in Cameroon, or our normal language that we used to call it. We call it tape tape. So it's important to know there are women who do tape tape. There are men who do tape tape. So knowing if your spouse is a tape tape person or has a tendency of accepting tape tape, please, you have to know it, so that when you accept that you are getting married to somebody who is a gambler, when you are into marriage and he's gambling with money, you should not raise foul play. You should not say, no, you deceive me. No, you already know before going into it. So these questions will help you to identify some red flags. You understand? A lot of women go into marriage, or a lot of people go into marriage, and they later say, no, I didn't know this man was like this. No, there are a lot of red flags that are there. It's only that you don't have that time to see it. You are being led by your emotions, and you don't have that time to check to see all those red flags. Another question will be, how would you, now we go on social media, how would you post on social media about our marriage? There are some couples that they don't like, they want their privacy, they don't like their relationship to be out there, and there are other couples that don't have any problem with that. So it's important to discuss this question with your partner before going into any serious relationship, so that when you go and you start posting your pictures that you were on a vacation, your spouse should not be annoyed, because they already know that this thing doesn't work. You don't have a problem with this. And if you are the type of couple that don't want to, you also know that you also respect those boundaries. Exactly, you have to respect those boundaries. So it's important to know. Now you have to know if they want to have kids as well. There are some people who don't really want to have kids, and there are some who want to have them. You have to know their viewpoint about kids, and for how long or how fast do we want these kids. Because there are some people, when they marry, they really want to have their honeymoon, they want to finish their careers and start working, earning some amount of money before they start bringing in kids. Meanwhile, there are some people who want you to be pregnant even before getting married, or even in their honeymoon. So you need to know all this before you go into any serious relationship with your partner. So thank you very much, guys. If you are watching, please do help me share this video. We still have a lot of questions, So if so, how many kids and when? If you want kids, you have to know how many kids your spouse wants to have. You people have to discuss this question. Why? As I said before, there are some people who don't want abortion. So we after having 3 kids, you can go on and put on a family planning, or the man do some vasectomy in order not to impregnate you again. This is to avoid unnecessary quarrels and unnecessary problem at home. Because I mean, if your spouse tells you, please, I just want 2 kids, and you also want 1 kid, you people can discuss and come to a middle ground, so that tomorrow you will not say, no, I made a mistake, oh, and I didn't drink my pills. That's why, you understand, because now you are putting your spouse on an edge, because you really knew he doesn't want, or she doesn't want more than 2 or 3 kids. Or when they want to make love to you and you are not safe, you tell your spouse, please, I'm not safe, and if we make love today, the probability of me getting pregnant will be too high. So your spouse should already know, we have 3 kids, and we discussed we have 3 kids. We already know that we wanted 3 kids, so we will not go any further anymore. You understand? You hold him responsible. So it's important to discuss a lot of questions. Okay, now the bank account. Are you going to have a joint bank account or a separate bank account? This has caused a lot of trouble in between couples, especially those couples that one traveled abroad, went home and brought the wife, or went home and brought the husband. The husband came, went to school, or the wife came, went to school, and start working and earning more cash than the partner. Now there's a conflict of interest. There's a lot of conflict of interest here, guys. So it's important to know if you are going to have a joint account or not. If not, you can discuss and come to a middle ground. All these questions are important for you to discuss, so that you can discuss it and come to a middle ground before you go into marriage. Because when you are into marriage and your spouse say, no, I don't want to have a joint account, and maybe you want to have a joint account with your spouse, it becomes a problem. It can start generating a lot of conflict into marriage. So it's so important for you guys to discuss a lot before you go into marriage. So how are we going to split the bills is another question to know about. Am I going to be paying for the mortgage while you buy food and other things at home, or am I going to pay for the children's school fees meanwhile you do this or do that? It's important to know how are you going to split the finances. Now, we also have to take into consideration that a woman has limited ways of making income. Why? Especially when they are raising children. When a woman is pregnant, obviously he cannot go to work, or if he's working, she might have a sick leave, or a maternity leave at home, and her income might be affected. So all these things need to talk out. All these things need to go on the table before you ever make any decision of going into any serious relationship with a partner. Okay, what kind of wedding do we want, right? There are some people that can go as far as borrowing money in order to make a wedding that everybody will know I got married, and after that they don't have any money to live on. Meanwhile, there are these people that they are very comfortable with a small wedding, and they don't want to borrow money to do a wedding. So you have to discuss these questions to know the kind of wedding you really want, so that you can come to a middle ground before it's too late. Because I said, when you say yes and go into the marriage, that is where you truly know that, I mean, these questions were worth discussing, and that you never really knew your spouse. Without this question, you cannot really know how somebody thinks, his reactions, what triggers their anger, their emotions. You will not really know them until you are into marriage and these things start rising up. So it's important for you to discuss all these questions. Now, you also have to ask, are you comfortable with my family? Ask your spouse, or your partner, if they are comfortable with your family. Because there are this family you get married into and you are like, wow, if I knew, I couldn't have gotten into this family. Because there are some families who are really troublesome. There are some families who are not welcoming. They don't like the woman, or they don't like the husband. So discussing these questions will help you know if the family accepts you or not. Remember, in our culture, it's not only your husband who gets married to you. It's not only you, the family also gets married to you. So knowing if your family is comfortable with your partner is so important, guys. So are we going to keep our surnames? Normally there are some cultures or some countries whereby you don't need to keep your husband's surname. And meanwhile, there are some that they need to keep them, or you might not really want to have your husband or your wife's surname whatsoever. So it's important for you to discuss these questions. So important. So we talk about the bank account. Does your husband, do you gamble? Their gambling nature, they are gambling. Now, the infertility, should in case one of us is infertile due to nature, what are we going to do? Are we going to adopt children? Are we going to stay without adopting? There are some people who don't want to adopt, they want their biological children. There are some other people that are more dynamic, they can adopt children because they believe that a child is a child. No matter, you can give an opportunity to the motherless or a childless child. So discuss these things, guys. It's so important for you to know how your partner thinks, how they feel, what triggers their emotion, their happiness, their dream career, if they want to have a joint account with you or not, if their spending ability, their spending nature, if they like credit card or they want to spend what they have. All this will help you avoid a lot of pains and regrets where you are already inside your matrimonial home. So we have come to the end of this video today. Please, if you have any question, you can also put them down. If there's another question that you think that is important to discuss before getting into marriage, our sister here says knowing knowing if you are zero positive or something, no, so that you might not have a sickle cell child. So it's important as well to go for a medical examination to know if your spouse is an SS or not, so as to avoid sickle cell children ahead of time. Because when you have these children, it costs you a lot of money, a lot of pain at home. The children themselves, when you see your child getting sick every now and then, and you have to be running up and down to do blood transfusion, it can really cause great stress into your marriage, and it can break the marriage down. So thank you very much for being there, guys, and I'll see you on my next video. Thank you.